The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Our guest tonight is a Grammy-winning musician, which I didn't realize. I guess I figured you probably have won Grammys, and now, of course, you won Grammys, like when I really think about it. And you probably know him as the bass player from the alt-rock band They Might Be Giants. He's also a founding member of the Red Pants Band, which has a brand new album out called Dinosaurs and Metaphors. Plus, there are videos, there's a tour. They Might Be Giants is getting back into the studio. We have a lot to discuss. That's just the point. So please welcome Danny Weinkauf to the program. Hey, Danny.
Hey, how you doing, Coops?
Good. Have you met Anthony before? Have you been on this show before?
I have not been on this show, and I don't think that I have met Anthony, no.
No.
So, I know you guys have been working together for a long time, but I don't think we've actually met.
Too long.
Yeah,
a little too long. Yeah. Sadly, this is my longest relationship right here.
All right. Well, maybe that's, I don't know what to say about that. But congratulations, Anthony, on hanging.
That's not the right. Congratulations would not be the right thing to say. No. My condolences.
I'm sorry.
Probably.
I'm sorry, Anthony.
There you go.
There you go.
But I'm just warning you ahead of time that Anthony also played bass. You're like a real bass player, and he's one of these people who fancies himself a bass player. So I'm just giving you a heads up ahead of time.
Okay.
I played bass at one time. I still have bass. I haven't sold anything. I don't have the arsenal that he has behind him. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a real musician. You're just a guy on the radio.
The lighting is probably terrible, and I apologize. You would think through all the time that we've been involved with this pandemic and Zoom that I would have a better setup, but this is the best I've got.
Well, actually, we would assume because you're a musician who records music that you would have a better setup.
Right. Well, my music recording stuff is fine. It's the video stuff.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could see you and hear you, and that's all that matters.
Okay. Excellent.
So let's talk about the Red Pants Band. So
so let me clarify. I when I release the music, aside from They Might Be Giants, I do children's music for family and kids, which actually started by working with They Might Be Giants, because at one point They Might Be Giants started making children's music and actually was signed to Disney Records. And we did music for a number of their television shows, like Mickey's Playhouse and the Hot Dog theme song and Higglytown Heroes, which was a series for Disney, et cetera. So I was working on children's music as a member of They Might Be Giants, and then sort of branched out on my own. But I released that music under my own name, which is Danny Weinkauf. The Red Pants Band is the band that I put together when I play live shows with my children's music. We all wear red pants, and we do it that way. So, yeah. So if somebody looks for Red Pants Band on YouTube or Spotify or something, it's not there. It's under my name.
Oh, good to know. Okay, now I understand, because I thought it was music you were doing with the Red Pants Band, but you're doing your own music, and then
I write all the songs.
Got it.
With the exception of usually one song on an album. There's a really excellent singer, bass player, keyboardist that works with us named Tina Kenny Jones. She'll write one of the songs and sing it and that sort of thing. And she sings probably half the songs. She's got like a phenomenal voice, and I've got a very okay voice. And that's being flattering to me. So when I write songs, melodies that I can't sing, I give them to her, and she can just belt them out, and she's phenomenal. So she's a total asset to the band, and for me as a songwriter, just as a way for me to, I can write songs that I would never be able to execute as a singer. So it's a great thing. Yeah.
See, Anthony, that's called appreciation. She's a total asset. So remember those words right there. Danny just said it about the woman he works with.
You're a total ass hat. So yeah, she's an asset. You're an ass hat.
Close enough. I guess I'll take it. So let's talk about the Dinosaurs and Metaphors, and because this just came out.
Well, the Dinosaurs and Metaphors. Okay, Dinosaurs and Metaphors came out at the beginning of the pandemic in April. Sort of not quite the beginning, just after I personally and my wife and daughter got COVID, which was in March of, I guess, 2019 when it all started.
Oh, no.
I think you're frozen. That may be me.
Yeah, we got
Can
you
you
back.
still hear me?
We got you back.
You're
okay,
good.
Great. Okay. So yeah, that album came out in April of what year are we in now? 2020. That
Wait,
came
so
out in April
what's the
2020.
new album then? What's the name of the new one?
The new album is called Words. It came out August 20th of this year of 2021. It's called
I'm sorry.
Words.
I thought Words was the single. Oh,
Words
I understand.
is a single. Yes, it's confusing. Words is a single, but it is a single from the next record, which is called Words. That album came out just a couple of weeks ago, August 20th. And the entire album is word themed. It's the first time I'm doing a themed record. So there's hyperbole song, there's alliteration song, there's silent letters and nouns and et cetera. You get the idea. So, I'm also a licensed physical therapist. So I was on tour with They Might Be Giants for about a week, which was supposed to be the start of about a year-long tour. And when COVID hit, and we got sent home and then told to wait a few days and then told to wait a couple of weeks. And ultimately everything was canceled, obviously. And so I was out of work and I got a call from a friend of mine, a woman who has 5 children who needed to homeschool them all of a sudden.
Wow.
And she was a practicing physical therapist in a school district near my home. And so she called me up and asked me if I could cover for her for an entire year while she took a sabbatical.
Wow.
So this past year, I've been a pediatric physical therapist in a school system.
That must be so weird for like the parents who know you as a musician.
It's weird. It's a little weird for me, but it actually is a really nice balance. Whereas, being a musician can be very self-directed. I feel incredibly selfish, especially when I'm on tour and my family's at home. I have 2 children, my wife and my kids. And so there are times where I feel a little bit guilty actually about being away from home for long stretches, that sort of thing. And being a physical therapist is like completely the opposite. It's not about me at all. Every session is about the child that I'm working with and trying to help improve their function and everything. And it really, it's a very grounding sort of balance to be doing both. Because I still was recording during the pandemic. I recorded this last record, this Words record, and I was still working with They Might Be Giants, and that, mostly virtually. But I still was a musician. But there was quite a balance.
Right.
So anyway,
no, I appreciate what you do as a physical therapist because my dog is a therapy animal, and he and I before COVID, obviously, we're visiting at hospital for joint disease, and we worked specifically with kids on the children's ward. And what I thought was really interesting, I work with a lot of the physical therapists, and they would have us come in, and the dog would actually work with the kids, especially the ones that were like afraid to use some of the big equipment. And I don't know what they had at your place, but
it was terrific. They didn't have anything at my place. I worked in the hallway.
Oh my God, that's crazy!
Because it was COVID. All of the classrooms, the gymnasiums were turned into classrooms. Everything had to be spaced apart, and glass walls put up around the desks, etc. All the dividers. Every inch of space was taken up. So I actually was relegated to the hallway, and whatever I did use with the children had to be cleaned every session.
Right, of course.
So I tried to keep it to a minimal amount of equipment, but the dog thing sounds amazing. I mean,
yeah. No, they were really people in that industry, your industry, and that part of your industry are incredibly creative when it comes to ways to do physical therapy, especially with children. And they use the dog quite a bit, whether it was, kids that had brain damage of some kind, or like an accident or whatever, that were like relearning words. They would give like 3 or 4 words to the dog. They would say, sit down and then stand up. And the kid would have to remember, what's the first command you gave the dog? I told him sit. Great. Tell him sit again. Sit. And he would sit. Okay. What's the second command? And they would have to sit and think, and like you would see them trying to remember what was the second command. So they were actually using.
That's
it was pretty cool.
It's beyond pretty cool. I mean, if you were the therapist, you'd realize that it's one of the more tricky things about a lot of these students is motivating them. Trying to find the things that will motivate, because some of them, especially the ones on the autism spectrum, it's very difficult to sort of tap into what works for them and what's interesting. So to have the animal there like that and have them react is really that really can facilitate a lot of the actual therapy.
Yeah, I recommend 100-pound big white Fluffy dog.
Oh, he's gained 4 pounds, huh?
That's right. That's right. He was a 96-pound puppy, but it's COVID, so he put on 4 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Now, you've been associated with a ton of record labels in your career.
Yes.
And you own one now. Is the record business in 2021 completely over as we know it?
Yeah, well, as we knew it, absolutely. It's a totally different world. It's I'm even more grateful than I ever was in the past to be still in a band that's generating money that allows me to make a living as a musician, because a big part of that used to be album sales. Mm-hmm. And that album sales don't exist. People don't really, they do on a very small level. Some people still buy some CDs here and there. People are buying vinyl, but whatever percentage, it's probably 95% or something of the music these days that's heard is streamed. Mm-hmm. And you subscribe to the streaming service and you have unlimited access to all the music ever made. And so, in some ways it's brilliant for the listener, but it's a very, very different business for the musician side. And I don't know how young bands do it. I really, it's mysterious to me because, within TMBG, for example, we used to tour basically with the goal to sort of just break even on the tour. And we would sell records while we were touring and sell merchandise and then hope that the tour inspired more sales and promoted the album. And now you put out an album and you tour trying to make money touring.
Right.
So it's much more difficult. The equation is really skewed much differently than it had been in the past. It's very tough for me, as it's an infinitely tiny label that I have my own albums out on. It's just because it's more convenient for me. I can release it whenever I want to, and I have control of it. And I don't have to get an okay from a third party. And I don't have to give them percentages of anything.
Right.
So, I've been around long enough that I know the people at the radio stations that I want to be in contact with. I know the promoters. I know I can contact them directly. I don't really need the level that I'm doing my children's music. I don't really need that much outside help. So that's why I was able to have my own label.
So you actually call radio yourself?
Yeah. I know the programming directors directly, or I'll just email them. I've been on stations in Sydney, Australia, for example. There's a great children's radio station down there called Kinderling. Dave Stevens is the program director. I'll email him directly, say, "Hey, Dave, I've got a new record. Here it is." He'll listen and tell me what he thinks about it. And like the Words album, for example, I just sent it to him a couple of days ago, and they have a thing they call the high five of the week, which is their pick of the week, and they feature that album. So in October, it's going to be one of their featured albums and that sort of thing.
Wow, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's terrific. And I'm grateful to people like him and the fact that I was able to meet him and play at his station because I was on tour with They Might Be Giants in Australia. Mm. So, it all works together, and, I try to keep as many plates spinning as I can. Much like you, Coops.
Yeah, no, you're busier than I am. I mean, I'm busy.
No. I was catching up online today before I wanted to talk to you again because we've talked and we've been friends for
long time.
Yeah, very long time. But I didn't know you were on your 7th book.
Yep.
That blows my mind. That is really, really. I mean, aside from getting your PhD and all the radio and television and everything else you've done. That's really commendable and
thank you. That's really kind of you to say. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm jealous. I feel like a slacker. I mean, we went to the same high school. Well,
I know.
I need to get in gear here.
You know what's so weird though? If you think about it, it was a pretty small high school, and there've been a lot of really successful people, but big time successful people who have done big time things. I wonder what's up with that. I wonder why there's so much incredible creativity and people that are so. Not just people that are working, people that are truly successful that, I only do that for a living. I don't have a second job. You know, I mean, I know that you enjoy the physical therapy stuff, but really music is your main gig.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and you and I both know several other of our friends and people we both know that also are working musicians or producers or, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. What do you make of that? Like, why do you think that so many people came from this tiny, tiny little town?
I don't, you know, I have thought about it. I've had people ask me the same question, actually. And it's usually somebody that falls in that category, you know,
right.
You know, a mutual friend of ours, Suzanne Luna.
Yep.
She's now won like 6 Emmy Awards and numerous other, you know, accolades. And she's a field producer for Ellen DeGeneres and a director and has done numerous, you know, she's worked for lots of people in Hollywood. I think she said the same kind of thing. Like, what do you think? I don't know, because, you know, I wonder if like somebody from another town near us, if they have as many too over the years, if it just accumulates, you know, like maybe it seems like more than it is.
No, they're losers everywhere else. It's just us.
They didn't have that drive.
You know,
they didn't have the drive. There's something about.
You know, I knew Steve Buscemi when I was a kid. He lived in Valley Stream. I'm sure he's not the only guy from Valley Stream.
He's the only guy from Valley Stream, and he wanted to live in Limbrook, but you know his parents wouldn't let him move.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the water here that's makes people want to be creative. I don't know. Or, you know, the other part of it is that the creative people could have been the ones that knew each other growing up.
Right.
So we're aware of
each other. Right.
Doing it. Yeah, we're very much aware of each other because those were the people we hung out with back in the day.
And I wonder how much of it's generational, because when I think of like, I get asked all the time by like young kids just getting out of college, like, how do you do it? And it's like, I can't answer that question because I came up in radio at a time when
for you, it's the answer is perseverance. Man, you just kept going. Honestly,
no, but there was opportunity. Those opportunities don't exist anymore because you get people like Anthony and I who are syndicated, and you know we take up a lot of bandwidth that normally would have been space for somebody else or 20 somebody else's. You know, and it's just it's not the same. It's not how it used to
Screw
be.
Them.
So.
That's our attitude. Screw them.
Yeah, but then there's the other side of it is there's this whole other world of people being recognized and finding like really fast wealth within the social media and TikTok world and Instagram world and these influencers and things that's a whole new world.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, yeah, and some of them are incredibly creative. And hardworking, and you know, and it's, you know, I'm sort of out of touch with it. I keep people that I talk to are like, oh, you need to get into this and you need to get into that, and I guess I have to, or I'm gonna, you know, I'll age myself out. But yeah, there's a whole. I think because of digital technology, there's a whole new thing sprouting up that's very, very as you know, Anthony was asking before about the record business. Lots of businesses are changing in that way. You know, celebrity is changing in that way. You know, so
yeah. So maybe even more opportunity, not less.
Yeah, well, there may be more. It's just it's completely different. Though. It might not be like, it may not be for them to get a radio show like you have, but it may be for them to, I don't know, be a makeup expert on
right.
I don't even know. I'm just taking a guess.
No, that's a thing. That's a category. Yeah.
So yeah. Who knows? Yeah, but that takes creativity too, and you know, and you have to work at it. You know, so.
Right.
So do you still play every day? Since we're looking at all your guitars and basses
absolutely.
and all that.
Yes, yeah. It's you know, I'm not a religious person, so I would say that I'm a very dedicated. As if I were like an Orthodox religious person, I'm dedicated to music in that way.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's a thing that sort of makes me feel the happiest and like life has meaning. Other than my family, I would say, I mean, there's nothing like your spouse or your kids or something, but other than that, music seems to be the thing that really, it just drives me. Because I have a studio in my home, I have access to it all the time. So I'm always playing. You know, I spent all day today. My son Kai actually sings on the new album. He's 22 years old now.
What?
Yeah, I know.
What? Wait, hang on a minute. You mean little tiny Kai that's not possible.
He's now 22 years old.
Wow.
He's finished up 4 years of college. He was he sang a cappella for 4 years he was the MD of an a cappella group for 4 years, the musical director.
Wow.
And he now is a really good songwriter and singer. And so we spent most of the day recording one of his new songs. And on, other days I'll be recording stuff for myself or just working on playing the bass or playing piano or playing keyboard, guitar, because I play multiple instruments. So trying to keep up on all of them, there's a lot that needs to be done, and it makes me feel great. So I do it every day. Yeah. In answer to your question, Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's worse now that you have a studio in your house. How many people do have the studio in your house? Is that hurting music more than going to a studio and having that experience?
I think it's both. I know, like with TMBG, we all have home studios. There's 5 of us. There's the 2 main initial members, John and John. And then there are 3, it's Dan Miller, myself, and Marty Bello, who's the drummer. We all have home studios. We all record music for television, and some do film scores, some do production, other things. But when we record with They Might Be Giants, we may demo the music at home, but we always go into a studio together.
Right.
Because you can't capture that same interaction, when you're doing it remotely. And we know that because of COVID, we put out a couple of records during COVID. And so I recorded probably 12 or so songs from home, but basically they'd send me the song almost finished. I do a bass part, send it back, and then that's it. And then I'd hear it later on. Oh, it's done now, but I wasn't in the room with the drummer. We couldn't go back and forth like we do when we're there together.
Right.
I didn't have direct feedback from the Johns. And so it's a very, very different thing. I mean, we all trust each other. So we trust that the parts are going to be good, but not in the same way. But so it's still great to have studios that you can all be together in that are not in somebody's little basement or something. The thing about the basement, as I'm probably, you may have experienced with broadcasting, you may have been able to broadcast from home too. I know some radio stations, the DJs are not going in yet.
Right.
They're doing.
Well, yeah, we're both at our respective homes right now.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I mean, back in the day when you had to go to a studio, it was costly. It was the average person, you could, you would save up money to get 2 days and make the most of those 2 days and get everybody, rehearse the songs and really make the most of the time. And now you can at your leisure, like try things out. And, it's a tremendous advantage from years ago, but it does make things cold and distant.
Right.
Right. Of course.
So
how is it? So if that's the case, how did you, because one of the videos for Words, you were saying that has like a really nice story attached to it. You got 25 animators from 6 different countries. So how did you make that happen then?
Okay. So I had written the album Words. The title track is called Words, and it's, just about basically using words in a positive way. There's so much that's going on in the world and the media. There's so much, so many things that I wish my kids would not have to hear, and, that they can't come here. So I just wanted to put out a message basically saying that words can be comforting, words can be inspiring, et cetera, et cetera. I made the video, and then, again, like it's COVID and things are crazy. So I thought, well, I can't really afford to pay top dollar to get a video made. Let me just contact some people that I know and see if there are students that are not really working so much because of COVID, whatever, that want to work on a project, that might want to do it for a reduced rate, whatever the case is. And I reached out to a friend of mine who had done some videos for me in the past and had done work for Sesame Street. When I wrote for Sesame Street, he did the videos for that as well. So this guy, Eric Kriedler from EG is the name of the company. Mm-hmm. I reached out to him. He said, well, let me see what I can do. And he lives in Minneapolis, and he had another friend in Minneapolis. He said, okay, this guy, what is his name? Mike Owens. He knows some other people. Give me a couple of days. So I wait a couple of days. He's like, Mike's got like 15 or 16 people already, and he's still asking around.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh, wow, this is great. Yeah. And so what that turned into was 25 animators.
Oh my Lord.
Wow.
Some of them in Holland, some in Barbados, some in India, some in the United States, all over the world. And so then now there's 25 people. So I can't pay 25 people their going rates, right?
Right.
So I thought, all right. It's great that these people are interested. What can we do?
I love how he's like, I can't pay one person. He's like, great, here's 25.
Yeah. So okay, I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. But now what are we going to do? So his idea was like, all right, I'll make a script that coincides with the lyrics, and we'll make shot numbers, and we'll ask if each group can do 1 or 2 shots, depending on how much time they have available and what they're up for. And then we'll make a donation to a charity in their name.
That's brilliant.
And all but a couple actually, I guess, just needed the money. So I sent them some money, but most of them did it for charity. So I wound up donating to about 23 different charities. And I don't know if I got to talk to you about it or not, but we did it through Discord. Have you used Discord before?
Right.
No, not yet. Mm-mm.
Discord, it's like one of these new apps like Zoom. It's a way for you to very easily set up meetings and set up sub meetings and subgroups where you can interact with people on your own timeline or interact, synchronously.
I see.
So they're like, all right, we're all gonna get everybody's name in Discord. We're gonna set up meetings, and they would set up these meetings, and it'd be 3 PM here. It would be 9 PM in Holland, and whatever time it was in India. And these people were like so generous, like, oh, I usually work in plasticine. What do? You do colored paper. What if I set up the shot with the plasticine and then you finished it with the colored paper and they were just so excited about working together and collaborating. And like the spirit of it was incredibly heartwarming. And it's not because it had anything to do with me. I think it was just because people wanted to be artistic and work together. And COVID had really limited that.
Right.
So these people came together and they made this really charming, colorful, vibrant video. And the money went to charity. So I thought it was just a win-win in every way. Yeah, it was really fantastic.
That is really amazing. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. So we did the words video, and then I have 2 other videos from the album that are for hyperbole and nouns, and then I'll have another one. Or nouns is coming. Etymology is done. So there's trying to because getting back to me being a PT in the classrooms, walking into all these classrooms each day, and mostly like kindergarten-ish grade kids, first, second graders, young children in elementary school, all wearing their masks, socially distanced, etc. Often the teachers would use videos as learning tools, or maybe as a reward. Yeah, after a lesson, they would play a video that encouraged them to exercise or whatever it is, and they would love to do that. So I thought, all right, maybe I can. That's where the idea of words came up. Like, let me do something word themed. It relates to kids. For me, it's more exciting than like Johnny's Got a Blue Cup.
Right.
I mean, there's a level of children's music that's like preschool. That's fantastic for preschoolers, but I don't do that. When I worked with They Might Be Giants, we didn't do that. And it's not what I enjoy. I like writing music that I would like, and then having the lyrics be more child specific. And so these topics, it's challenging to write a song about hyperbole or alliteration or whatever. So it made it fun for me.
And those are the ages that kids are first learning what those words mean, and then you drive it home with the song and the video. I watched the videos. Yeah, they're terrific.
Yeah. The videos are, my hope is that the teachers can use the videos just to get the kids inspired, and then teach a lesson. I don't expect to teach a kid the full topic in a 3-minute song. I try to cover it in there if I can, but I want it to just be an easy way to introduce it. Okay,
You're the Schoolhouse Rock of 2021.
Exactly. That's what I hope to do. Yeah.
No, that is what it feels like.
And I'm going to learn about hyperbole. So I'm going to watch that
Yeah,
video.
because Anthony doesn't know very much. Wait, last question. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you this one question, because a lot of what we do on the show is, very celebrity oriented. I noticed when I've come to see you play with They Might Be Giants, which is quite a few times, frankly, I've noticed that in the audience, it's a wide variety of ages. It's like young families, people bring their kids, that kind of thing. And I have noticed a couple of celebrities in the audience. Okay. Who have you met over time, and what celebrities have come backstage and been like, oh my God, I love this?
Oh, there's a lot of them. But they may not be the same celebrities that most people think of as celebrities these days, but people for me, like Elvis Costello, I got to meet Elvis Costello through They Might Be Giants, who for me is one of my heroes, as a songwriter and musically, he's always been one of my heroes. So that was, really exciting.
Did you tell him that? Did you get a chance? Did you say that to him, or is that weird?
I think I just told him that I've always admired his music, and it's a pleasure to meet you, that kind of thing. I try to not get too.
You don't want to gush, yeah.
I don't want to gush. Exactly. I mean, and is Amy Mann a celebrity?
I think so.
Yeah, I've been on cruises with her, and we've hung out. She's been backstage with us. We've been backstage with her. Michael Penn, who's her husband. Charles from the Pixies, the singer of the Pixies, who's another one of my heroes over the years. He lives in Northampton, Mass. When we go there, he shows up. And there have been like the young daughter on The Sopranos came to the show one night and kind of recognized her and things like that. So yeah, it's not. I don't think of TMBG as really like, it's not like we're Maroon 5 or something, and it's going to be like a place.
Thank God you're not.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like that would be like, you just want to show up so other people can know that you were there. I don't know. The They Might Be Giants is not quite like that, but it's, it's been great for so many years for me. So.
Yeah, no, you're really, really talented. And I just love the fact that you have had this amazing, successful career that just seems to keep growing and growing. And you're going on tour. So just tell me quickly, you're going to be on tour with your Red Pants people, right?
I'm playing with the Red Pants band, yeah. And the TMBG, unfortunately, as I said, we got canceled on the tour. It was postponed till 2021. And then an entire year, which started in March, was now moved to 2022. So we're starting in March of 2022. We had even scheduled shows for January and February of 2022, and those were moved to 23.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where, I don't know all of the specifics of it, but I guess that, with all the variants and everything, we don't want have any responsibility for anybody else getting sick or any of the band members getting sick. So it's unfortunate, but I can't wait. In the meantime, we're shooting some videos in October. We're doing some recording in October. And that will be the first time in several months that we've actually all been in the same room together. We did that a few months ago, and we hired a private doctor, and he tested everybody, and we still social distanced. And so maybe this time it'll be a little more relaxed. And then I'm playing with my children's group, the Red Pants Band. I'm playing in December at the Elmont Library on Long Island, and in February I'm playing a couple of shows in Belmore.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, we're doing some stuff with that. Just I want to fill out the calendar, and I play in other bands. I play like in cover bands and stuff in the meantime, just to be playing out.
Right.
And I do that a lot
because you love playing. And
because I love playing. Right. And there was a point where They Might Be Giants. Sort of our schedule was like a full year of tour, a full year of not touring. It used to be all the time. And then in the last few years, it sort of went to every other year. And I thought in the other years, I still want to be playing. And I want to be playing not in my basement. I want to be playing in front of people with other musicians. So I started picking up other work and so I've been doing that a lot. So that's, it's keeps me busy and just makes me more excited for when we get back on tour with the Giants.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, Danny, thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you for being here. You're amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you, Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck. Hang in there, sir.
Poor Anthony stuck with me. And we can find you at where's the best place? So DannyWeinkauf.com.
DannyWeinkauf.com, yeah. And then on Spotify or YouTube or any place, just Danny Weinkauf. Weinkauf.